Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an invoice for your small business. When creating an invoice, I highly recommend using a professional accounting software, as you will not only be able to create more professional invoices, but you can also connect your bank account to an accounting software and allow your client to simply click a button on the invoice and be able to pay that invoice. However, if you are in a hurry, then we can create a simple invoice just like this using Google Sheets. The only downside to using Google Sheets is you can't really integrate a payment button in here for your client to be able to pay. So you will have to figure out some kind of other way to actually claim that payment. However, to run you through this really quickly, we just want to head over to Google Sheets right here onto the main dashboard. Then we can go to the template gallery here at the top. And once this opens up, we can scroll down and see the invoice template right here. So this is very easy to do. We just go ahead and open this up. And then all of this information is fully customizable. So each of these pieces of text right here are in an individual cell. And we essentially just go through and replace this. So as an example, we would go to your company right here and you would enter in your company name. We can then go to your street, enter in your company's address right here, select the invoice date. This is super important and you want to make sure that your invoice is dated properly in case you have some issues arise in the future, and you can navigate back to the invoice that you sent and prove that you sent it on this date because it has a date right here. Then you would enter in the client's information in this area under invoice 4. So their name, company name, street address, and city. For the payable to, you would enter in the name of your business once again right here. So we could go for GeForce North. The invoice number, this is not super important and it's not really anything legal. This is essentially just for you to be able to keep track of invoices. However, if you are using Google Sheets, then I assume this is just a one-off invoice. So the invoice number doesn't really matter. We could just go in here, type in 001. For the next one, we would just set this to 2 and so on and so forth. We can then go down and choose the project name. So as an example, we could say that this is marketing services that we did for this company. We can choose the due date on the invoice. So the client would have from the submitted date to the due date to actually get this paid. And then down here, we have the description, and this is where we can add in the services. So we could go for item 1 and type in marketing services right here. For item 2, maybe we did some consulting for this client. We could type that in. We can then choose the quantity. So not super relevant if you are selling a service, but this is more for if you are selling physical products. Like let's say this person bought some rubber ducks and they also bought some plywood. We can then enter in the quantity right here. Let's say 7 and 10. We can then set the unit price for each of these right here. So $5 per duck and $10 per piece of plywood. And then it's automatically going to calculate the total price right here. We do have this adjustment tab that Google often puts in here. So if you do have any adjustments like a discount, then we can set this right here. Let's say a $10 discount right there. Or otherwise, we just highlight this section right here, remove this, and that adjustment is going to be removed. So in here, we can now go in and type in total. And just like that, we now have the invoice. We can also add some notes down here if we would like. To actually send the invoice, what you could technically do, but I don't recommend this, is you could go to share right here and general access. We want to stop this from being restricted and set this to anyone with link so that the person you are sending this to will be able to open the invoice. And then in here, you would just enter in the email address of the person you are sending this invoice to, and it will send them that invoice through Google Sheets. Now, the reason that I don't recommend this is because it doesn't really look professional if you send somebody an email address and your invoice is on Google Sheets. So instead, what I recommend doing is going up to File right here, and then we can go to download and we can download this as a PDF. That is exactly what I did in this area. And because this is just an invoice and this is a PDF, they can't really tell that it came from Google Sheets unless they know what an invoice on Google Sheets looks like. I should also mention that you can go in here and you can change the color of the text, everything like this, using these sections at the top. But once you have this file downloaded as a PDF right here, then all you would do is take that file and send it out as a regular email. Now, in terms of the more professional way of sending an invoice, we want to be using a professional invoicing and accounting software. And the one that I recommend, the best one that I have found, is QuickBooks. Now, I will leave my affiliate link for QuickBooks in the description of this video. So click on that link, and then this is going to take us over to QuickBooks, where we can get either a discount as a percentage off, or we can get the first month for free. As an example, I am on QuickBooks right here, and if we scroll down, we can see we get 50% off for the first 3 months on any of these plans. Or alternatively, if you are a small business owner, we can go up to small business right here, and then we can actually choose between if we want this 50% off for 3 months or this free trial for 30 days. Now, before we go in and actually create the invoice, there are 2 things that we first of all need to set up to really take the professionalism and the look of these invoices to the next level. The first is adding your company logo. So we just want to go up to this settings icon in the top right corner, and then we can go to account and settings right here. And in this area, once this loads up, we can see this logo space at the top. So we just click into this, and then we can add our logo right here. So we click in, click on this plus icon, and then all we have to do is drop our logo in, wait until this uploads, and we now have our brand logo that we can add to the top of our invoices. So we just save this, and then we can save right here. And then once you have done that, just head over to the sales tab on this left-hand side. And at the top, we can see customize the way forms look to your customers. So we want to click into here, customize look and feel. And then in here, this is going to be our default invoice template. So we can click into this right here. And the first thing that we want to do is go to make logo edits, click into this, and make sure that we show the logo. We can then choose things like the size of the logo, the placement of this logo right here, but I prefer it to be the default. And then we can also go to try other colors to choose a color right here that matches up to your logo. So as my logo is blue, this is already pretty good. But if your logo is orange, you might want to set this to orange, and we can set that right there. Underneath, we can also choose the font that we want to use. So we can choose between these 4 fonts right here. I honestly think Helvetica is just the best. This is the standard. And then we can also go ahead and choose the font size. And then once we have finished editing this template, we can now go through and create this professional invoice. So we want to go over to this left-hand side panel and go to sales right here, and then click on invoices. From this screen, we just click on create invoice here in the center, and that is now going to load up this invoice area. So the first thing that we are going to do is select the customer that we would like to invoice. And if we click into here, this is a customer that I created earlier, but you shouldn't yet have any customers in here. So we want to click on add new. And then in here, we add all of the customer's details over here on the right hand side. So we can add the first name, the last name, we can add the person's title, we can add the company name right here. And if there is any information that you are missing, such as the phone number, if you don't have the client's phone number, then you can leave this blank and it really doesn't matter. We can then go down and add the client's address. And this is important as we need the client's invoice on the address. And then once that is entered, we just click here on save, and this person is now going to be a saved customer. So anytime you need to come back, if we need to invoice this person again, we don't need to enter their details over and over. We just select them from this menu. It's automatically going to populate the email with the information that we put in here, and the exact same as the billing address. In this area, we can then choose the terms. So if you are unfamiliar with this, essentially we have 4 different options by default. Net 60 gives them 60 days to pay, net 30 gives them a month, net 15 gives them 15 days, and then due on receipt is it needs to be paid the same day. So if we bump this up, you will see the due date is going to change right here, depending on the one that we select. So let's give this person a month to pay this. And in here, we can now enter in the product and service. So for the service date, we enter in the date that we completed this service, not the invoice date that is already up here. So let's say that this was completed yesterday. So we can enter that in. We can then go for the product or service. And once again, when you click on this, you should only have services here. This is the default one that QuickBooks gives us. But we can create a service by going to add new right here. And then we can choose if this is a product, if this is a service, or if this is a bundle. So let's go for a service and we can call this marketing services. We can then choose the category, add a description, add the sales price and all of that good stuff. And then from here, once we have that set up, we can select this from this area. We can then add a description for this. So I might just say Facebook ads marketing. We can then choose the total amount due over here. So let's set this to 3,500 and that is now going to be added. We can also set the quantity, the rate, which is price per item, and then this will calculate the amount automatically. Then in here, we could do the same thing, set this as 03/08/24. Then we can choose this one. We might say that this was a consulting service. And then once again, we can choose the price for this. Let's say this was $5,000. And then down here, we can add a message on the invoice. If you want to add a message on the statement or add any attachments to this, you can do this all in this area. Now, the most important thing that will allow somebody to actually pay through the invoice is if we go back up to the top, you can see we have payment options. This is where we can choose to accept card payments or even PayPal or set up a direct debit. To set either of these up, we first of all want to make sure to go down. Don't save and send this, just save. And then we can go accept card payments. So once we have logged in, we just give it PayPal permission right here. And that's now going to connect up. And then we can return right here. Then we can go through to the next step. Just save this as PayPal Bank or choose the name. And PayPal is now connected. So we now have PayPal set up. I always recommend doing this just in case your clients want to pay through PayPal. And all of these other card methods are automatically accepted. So all we have to do is click on accept card payments with PayPal. And once you have this and you have all of the rest of the information, this is now finished. So all we have to do, because we already have this person's email, is we can click on save and send. And then this is the email that this person is going to receive. So we have a body. You can go through and edit the email body. You can go through and edit the email subject right here. And then all we have to do is click on send and close. And to show you how this is going to look on the customer side, you can see that I received an email right here from GeForce North. It says the invoice number. So you could delete this, I guess, in the title to just say invoice from GeForce North. But we can then click in and this is what your customer will see. So they can click in right here into review and pay. And in this area, they can now choose if they want to pay with a debit card, a credit card, or PayPal. And they would enter in their card details, click on pay, and then you will get paid into QuickBooks. So that is how you can create an invoice for your small business. If you would like to take a deeper dive into QuickBooks and learn how everything works, I will leave a link to a QuickBooks tutorial that I created in the description of this video. Either way, if you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.